So first I want to, what the hell? I need to reorganize my stuff. Teriyaki. First I need to preface right now. I'm going to preface why forwards get all the credit in the sport. So first, like, in order to win, you have to score. Everyone knows that. So in a knockout game. And second, the goal tally is there for everyone to see. It's a very simple metric. And third is everyone cheers when you score a goal. Like everyone has time to break the play, and there's a reset in the middle of the pitch. So if a goalkeeper does their job, he will only be given credit based on how good his opposition strikers are. But that's if and only if the performance is outstanding. But the strikers would have to only score maybe one goal or something, or they would have to go up against a much superior team. Like Vozinha, for example, that man can bend reality. Like, I think that team is supernatural, but not the point. Based on how many shots the goalie stops, or how many chances the defender shut down, based on how many attempts are made against the goalkeeper and how many of those attempts fail, but they would have to get through defenders. Basically, defenders and goalkeepers get blamed for losses, but they don't get the credit for wins most of the time if the strikers do their job even remotely decently. But strikers always get credited for wins. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Forwards are credited for team victories and defenders are blamed for team failures. So what I noticed first is that after 2022, like, if you so much as touch one follicle of Messi's hair, you get booked, especially in the club game, like every MLS game. If you touch his hair and he falls down, man, listen, may the universe have mercy on you, because you're getting booked. And it's up to him if he wants to sell the foul or not. And another thing is, like, the refs have to do their job, which is to make sure Messi wins, because, like, he's everyone's favorite player, right? And what I've seen it's annoying to the point where, like, I've seen him in every thumbnail. Even somebody made a video about speed, and Messi was in the thumbnail dribbling through people. He was never one of those who, like, speed is movement, it's pace. Messi doesn't even have pace. He doesn't overperform in that category. And I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's great at dribbling, great at free kicks, great at finding vision. Things such as this. Of course I realize that. But it's just like, in 7 levels of football, I always see Messi at number 7 all the time. I think there was one video about free kick takers where Messi was number 6, and then somebody picked out one person who was an absolute specialist at free kicks, even beyond that, even beyond Messi's level. And like, even if you're a casual, instead of saying you don't have a favorite player, what do? They just say Messi's their favorite player, because that's the safest option. Like, if you don't know anything about football, just say he's your favorite player, because he's the one he's the people's favorite player. He's the one person that the media unanimously agrees is the best player ever, which I don't think has ever happened before. But he has, like, so my whole thing is, like, talking about speed and putting him in there. He has agility, which is more so like moving in a zigzag, being hard to catch, being hard to, like, close down because of his movement through defenses, not passing the ball forward and outrunning his opponent. That's speed, pace. So I mean, like, what's going to happen next? People are going to make a video about how to score a lot of headers, and they're going to put Messi in the thumbnail, I guess. Even though he has, like, top 5 goals in history, but which, by the way, is aided by the more attack-focused game that's played nowadays. I'll get into that, but and as well as his position, again, I explained why forwards get more credit and are seen as better players by default. and like so that those two things boost his stature, boost his like status in the game. The fact that he's a forward and the fact that the modern game is more attack focused. But like even then he has so few headers. But I'm sure someone will talk about headers and they'll put Messi in the thumbnail. But I saw maybe like before 2019, I saw maybe 5 comments throughout the 2010s when Messi was in his prime that saying Messi was either the best player or saying he was their personal favorite player. And then what makes even less sense is that what makes even less sense is even people who have been watching football longer when Messi was in his prime in 2014 saying they would put Eden Hazard on their team over Messi. Now walking back stuff that they already previously said. Now it's revisionism, like people going back and saying it was never close between Messi and Ronaldo, which I should have said this at the beginning. I'm going to make sure I probably put it at the beginning, but I'm actually not a Ronaldo fan. I actually the only reason I would have wanted Portugal to go further was to just like so I can be done with that era, because that's the only other person people see as being around that level. But I guess when that was going on in the 2010s, maybe the only reason I preferred Messi was because of his demeanor, because I was a pretty quiet kid and I liked that he wasn't boastful. He didn't take off his shirt or flex his muscles, but I didn't like him in particular. Like I didn't even know who he was when I was playing him on FIFA 14. And I've been playing soccer my whole life. So the word soccer was invented by like English people. And this was in the 1800s. This wasn't like after World War II or anything like that, or even around World War One. So it's a shortening of association football, which we would have to get into what football originally referred to. But yes, what the world calls football, that was the first sport that I know of to be called football. But that's a video for like football nerds and history nerds. You would have to be a nerd of both. But like a lot of football fans probably don't know that, because they're football fans, but they're not history buffs. They're not also history buffs, so they don't look into the history of football necessarily. It might be somebody English who follows the Premier League, who's been following it for years and years and years, but they don't know the history of the sport to an extensive degree. They might be an advanced fan, though, and have all the merchandise. I'm getting ahead of myself, but yeah, like people like even for instance, if it was Messi, or there are other players that I would put on my team above Messi. Say if you had Messi and another player, I would there are players I would pick like greatest player ever. Again, now one of the questions we have to ask is his, as far as goal stats, and this applies to Ronaldo too. Are their stats boosted by the fact that we are playing a more attack focused game? And another thing, people talk about Ballon d'Ors. That is something that he was voted for. It's not based strictly on performance or numbers. It's voted on, not only is it voted on, but it's voted on by journalists. What is that? People who write articles, who type articles and take pictures. Journalists write articles and take pictures. Those are the people who vote for the Ballon d'Or, and it's based on one country. It's issued by one country. It's always been issued by France, if I believe. And that's one of the accolades. That's like one of the key things. But there are other Ballon d'Or winners that are seen as fraudulent. So my question is the Ballon d'Or fraudulent all the time? Because he has the record for that. And the people voting for it, how legitimate is it? Because they have their own narratives to push Messi and Ronaldo as this competition. This was made, I'm sure, large part for marketing purposes, but again, it's people turning around saying Messi was always way better. because listen, if it was not only other players in other positions that I think are better than Messi, but there are players that I would put in Messi's same position. Like 2014 Eden Hazard versus 2014 Messi. Are you telling me Messi is better than like prime Zidane, prime Zizou? Like, I'm probably putting him above. I would take him if I had to pick one of them, but I could not pick both of them. But I must pick one. I'm picking Zizou. And let's not even talk about like Brazilians in the era of Jogo Bonito. Or that's actually not what Brazilians say. They say futebol arte. It's football art. That's what they say. Are you going to put Messi above the great Kaká? Ou falemos cagendos, falamos, ou golaço fazemos? We're not doing that. Above the great Kaká. Are we going to put him above Ronaldinho Fenômeno? Or Rivaldo, Roberto Carlos. I would take those if I had to pick one or Messi. But it's just like this surface level understanding of like as soon as he won the World Cup. And again, the refs have to make him win because he's everybody's favorite player, except for me. And a thing about people getting credit, like even for the US, they say Pulisic is the best player. No, I mean the best league is the Premier League, but the players we have there, like Jedi Robinson or Chris Richards, don't get as much shine because they're defenders. Although I would if I had to pick one or Pulisic, I would pick one of the defenders. If I had to pick only one on my team, just like you guys can have Messi, I'll take certain other players on my team. If I had to pick one and you guys had to pick the other, because I know you guys are going to put Messi on your team. If it was Messi or Kaká, and depending on how my team is set up, that would determine if I pick Zizou or if I pick Ronaldo Fenômeno. And then it just goes from there. I would pick some goalkeeper. I think Prime Neuer is one of the best players ever, but he's a goalkeeper, so people won't even process that. Like top 20 players, they're all strikers, they're all forwards. Has nobody seen Claude Makelele? Like, bro. And this is extremely biased, but Paolo Maldini, you guys can have Messi. We're not even talking about same position. I can find people who can shut down Messi. Now again, the rules were different. So you could be more aggressive back then. Notice. But yeah, Paolo Maldini. Have any of you guys heard of Andrea Pirlo? Have you heard of these people? Per favore digami. Per favore digami verroti parenti. What are you doing? What are you doing? What is this? Arrivederci. I'm going to leave. Okay. You had a defensive revolution. Midfield in the 70s with Johan Cruyff, which is one of my favorite. He's up there with Paolo Maldini. Heavily biased, I know. It's very hard to find someone better than Paolo Maldini, but he's a defender. And I'm weird because I have an appreciation for defenders. Not as hard to calculate how good they are, but I've heard people say the striker is usually the best one on the field. But what if you lose? Does that mean the defenders from the opposition are better than you? And they say the most talented players are put in forward positions. But anyway, there was a defensive revolution in the 90s and 2000s. Then at the start of the 2006 World Cup, best player, widely accepted, was a defender. 2010 World Cup, it was a midfielder, attacking midfielder, Iniesta. 2014, a team with a lot of strikers. And you could see that it became more of an attacking game. So it's a lot of bias going into that. My storage went out, but I had to delete some apps, so there. crap. And like another thing is like he's the only footballer that appears by himself in advertisements, like the Spider-Man thing, and for the Lowe's commercial, talking about you know what it, do you want to know what it's like to be the greatest of all time? And I see Messi walking in the field by himself, and I'm like, why is Messi there? He doesn't know what that's like. I'm just trying to make you Messi fans angry because everybody's a Messi fan now. Everybody, especially after 2022. People who never would have cared in 2021. And he's appearing by himself with no other footballers. Break the Script had a bunch of people that were under Nike, but Messi's by himself with that Spider-Man advertisement. He's appearing in advertisements where he's the only footballer in that advertisement. So he's being hailed up by the media as like somebody who stands alone. And yeah, I just wanted to also point that out. It's portrayed like he has no equal or something like that. But other players, again, because they don't have a goal tally, because they don't play in that position, are overlooked. Like if I was to ask some of you, the casual football fans, or most football fans, even advanced ones, who are the greatest players, your top 50, you probably will have maybe one goalkeeper at the last five, between 45 and 50.